What's good, fellas? So, today's video is going to be ice types for our Radical Red randomized hardcore tier list, rating all the Pokemons in their respective types. And ice type is definitely, along with bug type, probably the hardest type to use. Actually, bug type might be harder, but this tier list is apparently all the ice types. I subtly think there's more ice types than this, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, there's 1,300 Pokemon in total, and I don't see how there's only this many ice types. But we'll carry on as if this is all the ice types. So we'll start with Lowland Sandslash. Oh, and we got very usable. The top tier is just very usable, meaning that it can also be used for situations that don't purely require like an ice type for whatever reason. Usable is just like if you need an ice type for whatever reason. And then unusable is like this Pokemon is trash. And I'm just going to do the fully evolved forms and the megas. Probably, yeah. So Alolan Sandslash is a steel type, and just by that alone makes it usable, right? It's a steel type. It's slow, so it works in maybe some trick, maybe Sabrina. This might actually work in Sabrina. For no, no, this will never work in Sabrina because its special defense is too low, and for the two physical type Pokemon on Sabrina's team, this thing's gonna get clapped by a fighting type move. So, uh, but pretty much any like physical fairy type or like I guess maybe certain normal types, this could actually do well in. Um, you just have to avoid a lot of different moves. Alolan Ninetales. This is a fantastic Pokemon, but unfortunately it sucks in Radical Red. This thing is, I think, probably unusable. Like it is a fairy type, so maybe if you have to like really force a fairy type, but I don't think it's. No, I'll put it in usable because it is a fast fairy type, right? So like I think it gets access to Moonblast as soon as you move, as soon as you get the move relearner. So you could get like Moonblast on this thing pretty early. I think, maybe not. But it gets good moves and it's fast enough to be useful in like the early to early mid game. Dugong unusable. Cloyster is surprisingly a very useful. Um, this thing is a physical wall, right? So as long as you're careful around special attacks, it can do pretty well. And this thing with like a Chople Berry can deal with physical fighting types. Like for example, the Halucha and Erica. This thing with a Chople can take a +2 close combat, and then you use an ice move. You don't ice shard because the ice shard will not take it out, but an ice move after a close combat will take it out. Um, and then if she tries to go to +4, then you use an ice move and then you ice shard. So either way, it pretty much beats Halucha in all circumstances except for maybe a crit. Um, Galar Mime with an Eviolite, let's say. I mean, you fight against it before Surge Town. But like, I've never used one. This thing is also pretty unusable. Its stats are too low, and like, I don't even know what this thing's role is in like even like PvP. I don't know if this thing has any history in PvP for like VGC. But in Radical Red, I mean, you also fight against one of these in the Ghost Tower. Someone has one of these, and it's very easy to deal with. So it can possibly be very good if an enemy has it, and it's easy to deal with. Jinx, unusable. Lapras, forgot what type Lapras is. I don't think it's an ice type in Radical Red. I think it's a dragon type, but we'll just rate it anyways. A water dragon type is very usable, just straight up. And then same with the mega. We won't rank the mega, but this thing, like, if this is your only water dragon type and you're bringing it to like a water format fight, like if you're going the rain route, this thing does well in the rain route. You fight against one in the rain route. Um, so yeah, it's good. Glaceon without Slush Rush with a random ability, unusable, unfortunately. Articuno is like, I mean, it's unusable. Like Articuno, it's like of the three birds, Articuno is the bulkiest bird, which would be nice if it was like a different typing, but being a bulky typing and then ice flying type is not good. Weavile, dark ice, usable, right? Because it's fast and it's powerful. It's frail, but sometimes you can play around that with certain Pokemon as long as they do one or two jobs well. And he hits hard. I'm actually trying to think. Should Articuno go up to usable? I don't think I've gotten this before, and I don't use it. Yeah. Like the only thing this thing could be useful for is maybe a double battle when you click like Icy Wind or something. And it also gets the Tornadus move that is like the signature move for Tornadus, which is decent enough. It's also a double, like it hits both Pokemon, so sure, whatever. We'll put it in usable. And it's 580 base stat. Like it's probably usable. Mamoswine is very usable for a lot of different circumstances. Like just ground type, a powerful ground type Pokemon with access to Stab Ice Shard is just straight up very usable in a lot of situations. Delibird is unusable. Everyone knows why. Stats are garbage. Cast form Hail is whatever. It doesn't even exist technically. Actually, yeah, it doesn't exist, but we'll put it in unusable if it did exist. Glalie, Mega Glalie is it's a pure ice type in Radical Red. And it's like unusable. Yeah, it's not usable. We'll put it at the top of unusable just because in case that matters, which we're not really doing that, but we'll give it that merit. Frostlass is a ghost type and an ice type. Its stats are kind of garbage. It's got like equal special attack and attack. So for that reason, I mean it's a ghost type, right? So we can, and I think it does get Ice Shard. It's just a lot weaker than Mamoswine. But as a ghost type, you can use it as a pivot if you have an extra slot to do so. So whatever. Walrein is kind of bulky, but it's not the type of bulky that does real well in long fights. And it's an ice type, which just doesn't help its case. So it's an unusable. Reggie Ice is very usable. It's just a special. It's specially bulky, and it has decent special attack. It's got 100 special attack, I believe, and 150 special defense, which is great for a lot of different matchups. Actually, like this thing does very well in the double battle before Erica's gym. Just straight up, it does really well. A lot of that is special attackers, as long as you can get rid of the Arcanine, obviously. Um, Obama Snow, unusable, and this thing doesn't even get to go at the top of unusable. This thing is trash. The Mega doesn't really help its case at all. Its stats are like just average across, which is not good. So yeah, like yeah. I mean, into an Earth type, I guess it could get used, but you're probably gonna have another grass type besides this thing. This thing is not good at all. Same with Rotom Freezer. It is not very usable. It's an ice electric type, and without its, I mean, yeah, like this thing, unless it has an ability that just makes it broken, you're never gonna think about pulling this out for any fight. Assuming, like for these tier lists, I'm sort of assuming that they just have like no type or no ability, and I'm just doing them purely on their typings and base stats. Yeah. Arceus does not exist. Arceus Snow. Yeah, Arceus doesn't exist. You know what? I'll take Castform out too. Because Castform Hail, I don't think exists in Radical Red because of its ability. Darmanitan Galar Darmanitan. Pure Ice type. Nah, it's unusable. It's unusable. This thing, however, technically does not exist, so I will leave it in does not exist without its ability. But like, would you ever want an ice fire type? Nah, probably not, right? Like into a grass gym, I guess. Like maybe Erica. I suppose Erica, but it doesn't exist, so we're not gonna put it in the chart. At least in Radical Red, it doesn't. Vanillux, pure ice type, decent special attack, pretty slow. We will put it. Yeah, it's garbage. It's garbage. That thing's not usable. There's no way. It's just not fast enough to do anything as an ice type, and it's a special attacker, which means that Ice Shard isn't really useful on it, and there's no special attacking priority ice move, so like it's only really the bulky ice types that get a place, or the frail offensive ice types, or like the slow physical ice types that also get access to ice shard and are strong enough. Bear tick, ice fighting type, which is kind of cool, but like, what's this thing going to be used for? It's too ability dependent. Its stats aren't good enough. It's an ice type. It is a fighting type, but like, that doesn't really bring it out of unusable, in my opinion. Unless, I mean, if it has a good ability, maybe. Uh, Next one is cryogonal. Cryogonal. Um, I mean, it's kind of weird because it's like it's fast. No, this thing's unusable. This thing, that thing's not usable. Um, Kyurem, right? Kyurem. So we'll put it in usable. I don't think it's very usable. Like I guess in the early game because it gets access to like glaciate, which I don't know if that's its signature move or I don't know what generation that move was introduced. Glaciate, which is basically just icy wind but 10 base power stronger. Uh, but he does get that in the early game, which is useful for a number of situations and double battles. So, well, I mean, does being good in the early game qualify you as very usable when like 90% of the game is played after like Surge, I guess? No, it's good. It'll go unusable just because it's stats and it's also good in the early game. Uh, Kirim White does not exist in Radical Red unless you cheat it in. The same one with Reshiram White and Black, or not Reshiram. Kirim White and then Kirim Black. Yeah, they don't exist. Aurorus, unusable, 100%. This thing is absolute garbage. Uh, it is a rock ice type, which is not good. And its stats are like just smack average, except it has no speed. So it's too poor of a typing. Yeah, to be useful. Avalug. This thing is very usable. This thing also, for the same reason that Cloyster does, um, takes care of the Hawlucha and Erica. It takes care, if, like any opposing Pokemon that's weak to ice and has like some physical threat and like setup in situations, this thing does fantastic into with a Choppleberry. I mean, it needs a Choppleberry, which is why its stats are arguably not as good as its Hisuian counterpart. This one has like 110 physical attack and 120 something physical defense. And this thing has 115. It's got more physical attack and more physical defense in exchange for having less special attack and less special defense. Which I guess for the like in stats alone, yeah, sure, Hisuian Avalug is better. But because it's also a rock type, it just can't take like there's just so much more stuff it can't take. Plus, fighting moves are 4 times effective to it, so it's never taking, even with a Choppleberry, it's not taking a +2 fighting move. That is stab. It's just it'll go unusable because it's like powerful and it has Ice Shard, and it also has Accelerock, which is offensively what differs it from Avalug. Avalug only has Ice Shard. But this thing with like Avalanche is really good on this Pokemon. Like you're just almost guaranteeing 100 accuracy, 120 base power ice attack on something like this is fantastic. Crabrawler? Nah. Yeah, it's unusable. Its stats are not good enough. It's also slow. Ice type Silvally, I mean, stats like 600 base power. Plus, I mean, it only has one ability unless we're just talking about Silvally in general. But every single type, 120 base power, uh, like signature ice type move is also great. Frostmoth, garbage, unusable, horrible typing. Ice Q is like not usable because it doesn't have its signature ability, so it doesn't get access to whatever form this one is. This form doesn't exist if you're playing with randomized abilities. Wow, we're in Gen 9 already. Or no. Wait, no, we're in Gen 8 still. So Arctozolt is like, let's be honest, this is unusable. Arctofish is also pretty unusable. Both of these are just, their stats are just not good enough to be used, even with their ice. Yeah, and they're just too slow. And their abilities are like set up so that they're fast in a terrain and still average. So whatever. Glastrier or Glastrier is very usable. This thing is very similar to Avalug, but it's just stronger. It's just straight up stronger. So as a Pokemon, it's like what 580 base stat total, I think. Yeah, 580, and it's fantastic, and it has 30 speed. So like, unfortunately, it doesn't really do that well in Sabrina, but Sabrina has one of these, and hers does pretty freaking well. under the Trick Room. This thing does not exist, and in case you want to know, like if you haven't cheated this thing in, this Pokemon is busted. It's basically the same sort of type of Pokemon, but it just has plus 20 in all of its stats, I think, except maybe HP. And this is 580 base power. This is 680 base power. And unfortunately, it has 50 speed. So like I was thinking, because this is an ice psychic type, I'll bring it to Sabrina and keep it in the back. And this thing has 50 speed. Both her Iron Hands and her Glastrier outspeed this under Trick Room, and it just gets demolished. Like, because freaking Iron Hands, the first thing he does to this, even with a Cold Barbarian, is he just knocks off, and it still does like almost a third of the damage because the Iron Hands has the booster energy. And yeah, this thing just gets deleted because you like bring it in, and the Glastrier is setting up. Iron Hands clicks knock off into either this slot or the other slot, and then after that, Iron Hands will take this thing out, and the Glastrier can do whatever it wants. It could probably even set up again because the Iron Hands can probably take this out, having taken a knockoff previously. So yeah, it's still fantastic for like weird matchups simply because of its stats. 680 and its signature. Oh, I didn't even talk about the move. The Glacial Lance Garbage is fantastic. It's a great move. But unfortunately, it does not exist in Radical Red. So I'm just going to not put it on. But for those of you that play the other way, it is fantastic, and it'll go up here. Sort of similar to Glastrier. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. It basically plays the same way. It's just stronger. But then in certain cases, this is actually better because it is slower. Cetitan, unusable. Garbage. It's complete trash. Bax Caliber is usable. We'll put it in usable, I guess. Just because it's got Ice Shard and it's got a fantastic Dragon type move, and its stats are like okay enough to be used. Its speed is not great, but it does have Ice Shard, so for the like if you're bringing this to a battle, you're considering using Ice Shard in your strategy. Next one is Chien Pao, or I don't know. It's usable for the same reason that Weaval's usable. I actually like Weaval more because he gets fake out in his egg moves if you make it to the 6th gym. And I guess he's not as fast. I guess Chien Pao is faster, so. But Chien Pao doesn't get Ice Shard, which I'm pretty sure Weavile does. So, yeah, Chien Pao, unfortunately, is sitting right behind Weavile. And then Iron Bundle. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's so specially fragile. But I mean, it's so powerful and it's so fast. But because its move pool sucks. Its move pool is so ass, even in Radical Red, that I'll just put it in base usable. Because like in the late game, there's a lot like towards the end of mid game, and then as you like are going into Sabrina's level cap, and then every level cap after that, he gets like better moves. Actually, no. I guess just after Erica, when you get Ice Beam and Scald. No, he doesn't get Scald. I don't even know. He doesn't like learn a water type move. Except for flip turn. So you're just like clicking Ice Beam on him and then flip turn. And then I mean, if you want, Hydro Pump, but I'm never clicking Hydro Pump on this thing. Uh, and that's it. That surprisingly, I don't believe how that's the ice types. But let's just think about it. We'll rate the top, the very usable category just amongst themselves. Uh, Avalugg is probably the best, followed by followed by Calyrex Ice Rider, followed by Mamoswine, followed by Reggie Ice, and then Glastrier, and then Cloyster. And Lapras is technically not an ice type, I think. It's a water dragon type, but if it is, the Mega for sure is a water dragon. I just don't remember if the base one is as well. But if it is an ice type, it'll go at the bottom of very usable just because of its stats. Its typing is great. And then in usable, Ninetales is at the bottom. Yeah, I guess Iron Bundle, Baxcalibur, base type, Silvally, maybe. Probably not even. That'll go towards the bottom. Kyurem, sure, the base stats alone. And then probably Weavile. Yeah, I think that's correct. And then maybe Avalugg, and then Chiampao, and then Sandslash, and then Articuno, and then Frostlass. And then, yeah, that seems about right. Yeah, that is for sure correct. 100%. All right, that's the end of the video.